So we've already talked about Thor Love and Thunder on the channel, and if you actually saw that video, you know that I didn't really like it. Well, you don't really have to watch it, I guess, because the clue's already in the title. But one thing I did admit I was pleased with was the new power scaling that the film gave us, and that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in today's video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you all a deep look into all the feats of MCU Thor, movie by movie, so hopefully by the end of the video we can all have an idea of how strong, durable and fast the guy really is in Thor Love and Thunder. Hopefully this is the last time I'm going to need to power scale Thor, because as you all know I've talked about him a lot on this channel already. So to kickstart the video, we're going to be starting with the first Thor movie. While fighting on Jotunheim, Thor was able to blow a massive hole through the planet in a single lightning strike, which we can visibly see did a ton of damage. Official sources have stated that Thor shook the entire planet with this strike, and that the crater he created was 100 times the size of the Grand Canyon, which for reference is about 27,700 miles long, or almost triple Earth's diameter. Given that the ice Thor was cracking is comparable to Asgardian steel, the feat comes in at 207.3 petatons of TNT, which is multi-continental, all in a single lightning strike. Credit to the Emperor for this calc, links to his channel will be in the description below. For consistent multi-continental scaling, Odin states that Mjolnir's power has, quote, no equal.
Its power has no equal.
This puts Mjolnir above the Casca of Ancient Winters, which was stated to be able to freeze the surface of a planet, making it multi-continental, of which Mjolnir upscales from. In the Dark World, Mjolnir was also able to fly up into space at speeds of over Mach 1000. The amount of energy Mjolnir was generating in this scene is calculated at 38.998 petatons, which is multi-continental. However, given Mjolnir's other speed feats, which we'll hear about later, this is likely a severe lowball. Back to the first movie, Thor was also able to shatter the Rainbow Bridge in 10 strikes from Mjolnir. The Rainbow Bridge is able to contain the full power of the Bifrost, which Heimdall states can destroy planets.
To leave the bridge open would unleash the full power of the Bifrost and destroy Jotunheim with you upon.
The Bifrost was also able to create a black hole which was sucking in multiple stars at the end of Thor 1, and the Rainbow Bridge is able to contain this kind of power. That said, Thor being able to destroy the bridge should easily be a planet level feat on a low end, and star level on a high end, although in all fairness it did take him 10 hits. In the first Avengers movie, even whilst being severely weakened by dark magic, Thor was able to match the Hulk in raw strength, blocking Hulk's strike even whilst he was pressing down with his entire body weight. Hulk was able to casually one-shot a Chitauri Leviathan and stop it dead in its tracks with a single punch. The Leviathans are stated by a co-writer to weigh around 3 million tons, which is the equivalent of almost 20,000 blue whales, and so this feat is applicable to Thor's low-end lifting strength. Thor was also able to obliterate the armors of several Leviathans with his lightning, and these are the same Leviathans which could no-sell Iron Man's 200 petawatt laser system. This would make the Leviathan's armor at least multi-continental in terms of durability, which we explain in our MCU as Guardian Gods video. Check that out if you haven't already. And so this serves as consistency for Thor's lightning having at least multi-continental attack potency. In his second solo movie, Thor was able to battle one-on-one against Malekith wielding the Ether, and is seen tanking multiple attacks from the Infinity Stone with little effect.
You know, with all that power, I thought you'd hit harder.
The Ether is stated in multiple sources as well as guidebooks to have the power to destroy the universe, and it's outright stated to do so in the movie itself by both Odin and Jane Foster.
Not just on Asgard or on a star, Malekith is gonna destroy everything.
An ancient force of infinite destruction.
And considering Jane literally had the Ether inside her, it's safe to say she knows what she's talking about. However, if you don't want to say that Thor tanking the Ether is universal, it should be at least planet to star level, as in Jane's vision we see it consuming an entire star, and was also stated by her in a deleted scene to have destroyed a planet.
Malekith used it once before. It says he destroyed a whole planet.
And as a bonus, Thor was of course able to defeat Malekith, albeit with a little help from Jane. However, it shouldn't be too much of a stretch to scale Thor off Malekith's low-end scaling, and so we have yet more consistent planet-to-star level scaling for Thor. In Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor was able to destroy the flying city of Sokovia in just a single hit from Mjolnir. This feat is calculated to 163.4 gigatons of TNT, which is large island level. While this certainly isn't as impressive as some of Thor's other feats, the amount of energy he was outputting in this scene is equal to roughly 3,268 nukes going off at once, each one as powerful as the most powerful nuke detonated in human history, the Tsar Bomb. And just keep in mind that Thor was able to perform this feat whilst being weakened due to the conditions of his vision. So as of now, just going off phase 1 and 2, we appear to have some very consistent planet to star level scaling for pre-awakened Thor. However, once awakening his true power in Thor Ragnarok and retrieving Stormbreaker in Infinity War, Thor becomes even stronger. Of course, the primary source for Thor's new awakened scaling comes from battling his sister, Hela. Not only does Thor consistently endure multiple attacks and stab wounds from Hela, but he also manages to hold his own and contend against her for a decent bit of time whilst in his awakened form at full power, with the official movie script even going as far to say that Thor had a chance of beating her. With all that said, Thor's durability should easily be relative to Hela's attack potency, and he should somewhat scale to or downscale from her in terms of his attack potency. Hela's best strength feat was being able to casually crush Mjolnir in her hand. Mjolnir was stated in a source from the first Thor movie to have survived a supernova during its creation, making its durability star level, of which Hela scales to. Hela also considered the Casca of Ancient Winters, a weapon with multi-continental power, weak, and considered the Tesseract not bad.
Weak? That's not bad.
For an extremely low end, the Tesseract was stated by Black Widow to have the energy necessary to destroy a planet, making it at least planetary.
It has the potential energy to wipe out the planet.
However, there are numerous other statements which can be used to scale it even higher, with both the Other and Ebony Maw directly comparing the Tesseract to the universe itself.
The world will be his, the universe yours.
The universe lies within your grasp.
So based on the feats just listed, I think it's safe to say that Hela is very casually star level plus in terms of attack potency and durability. And if you want to highball her a bit, you could even say she's universal, but for now we'll just keep her at large star. As said earlier, Thor 2 would need to scale to this level in terms of durability and should also be somewhat relative to it in terms of attack potency as well, especially when you consider that Hela wasn't even on Asgard, the source of her power, when she crushed Mjolnir, meaning that she was far weaker than at the end of the movie. Thor was also able to knock out Hela with a single lightning bolt, as confirmed by the official script, and was even able to shatter the Rainbow Bridge using his lightning, both of which should be consistent large star level feats of Thor's lightning AP. However, easily some of Thor's best feats and high tier scaling comes from none other than Infinity War. Of course, we have the whole Forge sequence in which Thor demonstrates ridiculous levels of strength and durability. In fact, it's so ridiculous that I even made an entire video breaking down just these 3 feats alone. However, just for the sake of the video, I'll go over them again. With a little help from Rocket and his pod, Thor was able to move the gigantic rings of Nidavellir in order to reignite the neutron star. Nidavellir's rings have been calculated by Comet Safari to weigh over 100 trillion tons, and according to VFX supervisor Greg Steele are the size of a small moon. What makes this feat so impressive, however, is that Thor was able to move these rings whilst being under the gravity of the neutron star. And for those who are unaware, the pressure inside a neutron star is 100 million times greater than on Earth. With this in mind, we can upgrade this feat massively to a whopping 71.875 exatons of TNT, which is moon level. Credit to Paxilla Prime for the calc. And just for reference, that's about 1 trillion times stronger than the aforementioned Tsar bomb. Shortly afterwards, Thor was also able to hold open the iris of Nidavellir's star while simultaneously enduring the full force of the star, a feat that is calculated to 4 quadrillion tons of weight, which for context is about 342 times heavier than Mars' largest moon Phobos. And speaking of the star, Thor was of course able to endure the full force of the neutron star for what each restates to be a few minutes.
How long will it take to hit it? A few minutes, maybe more. Why?
We know for a fact that Thor had to be taking the full force of the star because Nidavellir is stated to be a Dyson sphere by their VFX team, as well as the fact that Eitri flat out states he'll be taking its full force.
You understand, boy? You're about to take the full force of a star.
So in order to scale this feat, we'll first need to find out how powerful neutron stars are. The gravitational binding energy of the average neutron star, which is basically the amount of energy required to create or destroy it, is around 340 Fo, which is solar system level. However, this is likely a lowball as Eitri states Thor will be taking the full force of the star, as opposed to just energy output, and so that includes factors such as heat, pressure, gravity, etc. For more info on this feat, please check out our recent MCU Thor Forge video where we do an in-depth analysis on Thor's star feat. Now, an important detail many people seem to forget when discussing this feat is that Thor was actually severely weakened whilst withstanding the neutron star, as he had just recently had to endure the destruction of the Statesman whilst already being in a near-death state. And this is another very notable feat, as the Statesman was durable enough to withstand flying through what Banner states to be a collapsing neutron star in Thor Ragnarok.
That looks like a collapsing neutron star inside of an Einstein-Rosen bridge.
Once calculated, the collapsing neutron star comes in at just beneath solar system level, which would scale to the Statesman's durability, and thus Thor's durability as well, seeing how he survived its very destruction. And if you wanted to get the feat even higher, the novelization even states this collapsing neutron star to be a magnetar, which is a type of neutron star that has been recorded releasing more energy in 1/10 of a second than the Sun does in 300,000 years. Regardless, this still stands as a very good supporting feat for Thor having consistent star to solar system level durability. Once obtaining Stormbreaker and arriving in Wakanda, Thor was able to generate a massive storm which has been calculated to continent level, giving him at least continental AP with his storms. However, storms aren't the real deal here, it's that axe right there. According to Eitri, Stormbreaker is the greatest weapon in Asgard's history, which would already scale it above Mjolnir, which has planet to star level feats of its own. But you want to know what's more impressive than that? Of course, the feat I'm referring to is when Thor was able to use Stormbreaker to overpower a beam from all 6 Infinity Stones. We've already discussed how both the Space and Reality Stones each have universal power. However, this same scaling can be applied to pretty much all the stones. In Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor states that the Mind Stone is the greatest power in the universe and is unparalleled in its destructive capabilities.
It's the Mind Stone. It's one of the 6 Infinity Stones, the greatest power in the universe, unparalleled in its destructive capabilities.
This would also be consistent with statements from What If, which state that the Mind Stone has infinite power. The Power Stone is stated in an official source to have unlimited power, and the Soul Stone is stated in a prequel comic to be the most powerful stone of all, scaling above all the other Universal Infinity Stones. The official Marvel website states that the stones are able to affect Dormammu, who is able to consume infinite universes and is stated to be extra-dimensional, making him at least multiversal. With this, we can fairly easily conclude that individual Infinity Stones on a low end are at least a universal, and when combined can be upgraded to multiversal. That said, if we were to lowball Thor's feat of overpowering all 6 stones and instead scale him to just a single stone alone, that should make his striking power at least a universe level with Stormbreaker. And for the tards who think we wanked Thor, just know that there are scans which confirm the stones to have omnipotent power, and so scaling Thor's universal is about as low as you can get with this feat. In Avengers Endgame, Thor was able to endure multiple attacks from an enraged Thanos, and this is another extremely impressive durability feat when you factor in the strength of the Mad Titan. Thanos is stated in official sources to be the strongest opponent Hulk has ever encountered, which would scale him above Surtur. Prime Surtur of the Eternal Flame was able to infamously one-shot Asgard, which we concluded to be a baseline star-level feat in our MCU Asgardian Gods video. With this info, we can easily comply that Thanos should be outputting at the very least star levels of force of his attacks, scaling to Thor's durability. Additionally, we also see that, while certainly being much weaker than Thanos, Thor is able to wrestle with the Mad Titan and compete with him to a degree, even managing to use 2 hands to slowly overpower Thanos, so he should somewhat downscale from Thanos' strength. And then we get to Thor's most recent movie, Thor Love and Thunder. Now, although the movie doesn't actually upgrade Thor or make him stronger in any way, it still gives us some very good supporting feats to keep Thor's scaling all consistent. Throughout the movie, Thor is able to physically match Gorr the God Butcher. Director Taika Waititi stated that Gorr is stronger than Hela, who we have already scaled to baseline star level and possibly universal as well. That said, we can now confirm that Thor is physically above the likes of Hela and so should scale above all and any of her feats. During the battle on the moon, Gorr was seemingly able to move a sun around in order to create shadows for whatever reason. In order for Gorr to perform this feat, he'd need to have at least star level physicality, which is consistent with another one of his feats. Gorr was also able to resist the pull of the Bifrost, which, as I've said enough times by now, was able to create a black hole that sucked in multiple stars. With that said, we can fairly easily deduce that Gorr's strength and durability would bare minimum scale to star level, upgrading Thor's physical strength from moon level all the way to the stellar tier. However, we're not quite done yet. With all Black the Necro sword in hand, Gorr becomes even more formidable, as Zeus states that with the sword, Gorr could solo all the gods in Omnipotent City.
Gorr has the Necro sword, which means he could kill us. Not good.
And according to Thor, Omnipotent City is home to the most powerful gods in the universe.
What's Omnipotent City?
It's the home of the most powerful gods in the universe.
This would include characters like Khonshu, who has a multi-galaxy level feat in Moon Knight Episode 3, along with galaxy level Celestials, who are seen residing in Omnipotent City. Thor with Stormbreaker scales to Gorr with the Necro Sword, and even when devoid of the axe and instead using Zeus's lightning bolt, he was still able to match the God Butcher. So although Love and Thunder doesn't exactly scale Thor any higher, it certainly does a lot for adding consistency to Thor's power scaling by offering a ton of great supporting feats. And with that, Thor's long list of AP and durability feats comes to a convincing close, allowing us to accurately scale the God of Thunder's physicality. In terms of durability, Thor remains consistently in the large star to solar system level range, going off his 2 neutron star feats from Infinity War, along with many supporting feats from previous films. Thor's physical strength should easily be moon level by the time of Infinity War, but now with Love and Thunder out, he should comfortably be large star level scaling off Gorr. And finally, with Stormbreaker in hand, Thor is easily galaxy to multi-galaxy level on a low end, but going off his feat of overpowering the Infinity Stones, his AP can be argued at universal to say the least. So now with attack potency and durability out of the way, let's take a quick look at Thor's speed. For the lowest end, we can scale Thor to characters like Captain America and Iron Man, who are seen reacting to Ultron's lasers, which are stated in an official source to be beams of light, making them both at least relativistic. Quicksilver is able to slow-mo and dodge this same attack, which is calculated to about 45% the speed of light, and Thor in Age of Ultron is able to react to Quicksilver running at him. In the first Thor movie, Thor was able to react to the Destroyer's energy beams, which were compared to a laser in the context of speed, making them light speed. Thor can also casually dodge Iron Man's repulsor beams, which are stated multiple times to be light-based attacks, and he would also scale to other characters who can react to repulsors such as Thanos and Cull Obsidian. Thor would also scale massively above characters like Spider-Man, who can literally dodge electricity, which would easily be a faster than light feat given that electricity is light speed. So just based off Thor scaling to these said characters, he would easily clock in from between relativistic and faster than light. However, Thor can easily be scaled to massively faster than light, or MFTL for short, and here's why. Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, has numerous MFTL feats, such as flying from the sun to the earth in under 2 seconds, which is calced to 429 times faster than light. For consistency, Thor is able to blitz past a mini black hole in Thor the Dark World, which would require massively faster than light speed, given that light itself cannot escape the gravitational pull of black holes. And thanks to Love and Thunder, we have even more consistent, massively faster than light Mjolnir feats. Jane Foster is able to circumnavigate the Earth twice, which comes in at over 463,000 times faster than light, using the on-screen time frame. Jane was also able to fly to the center of the universe in about 20 seconds, and because we actually have no idea where that is, even if we massively lowball this feat and said she just flew to the center of our galaxy, it would still come in at around 40.7 billion times faster than light, again consistent with many other calcs. And so with that said, it's safe to say that Mjolnir is consistently massively above the speed of light, which Thor's travel speed obviously scales to. Thor also has to be fast enough to catch Mjolnir when it flies towards him, and so we can also scale his combat and reaction speed to that of the hammer. Not to mention he already scales to characters like Thanos, Curse and Hela, who have all dodged or blocked Mjolnir. In Endgame, even while he was fat and out of shape, Thor was able to dodge Thanos' sword being hurled at him, which is faster than Captain Marvel's top flight speed. Captain Marvel has an MFCL feat at the start of Endgame, of which Thanos' throwing speed exceeds and thus Thor's reaction time as well. Thor also scales to Hela, who is able to throw a knife at Loki whilst mid-flight in the Bifrost. And since the Bifrost is stated in the official Marvel website to be a tractor beam, this means that Hela must have a greater throwing speed than that of the Bifrost's overall speed, or else the knife would have just stayed still or fallen behind. And the Bifrost is literally fast enough to cover entire galaxies in seconds, which is calced at over 3 trillion times faster than light. It's also worth mentioning that Thor can block and react to Hela's Necro Swords, which just adds more consistency to the scaling. Thor was able to fight Gore the God Butcher, who could move a star at speeds of over 19 times faster than light. So yes, Thor's speed can easily be scaled to massively faster than light via his own feats and scaling to other characters' feats. And for anyone who still wasn't woken up and thinks that faster than light speed scaling in the MCU is inconsistent, I would heavily advise you to go check out our video which basically lists every faster than light feat in the MCU pre-Love and Thunder and explains the consistency in the scaling. When it comes to Hack's abilities and versatility, well, Thor is quite the package. Of course, Thor has the ability to summon lightning bolts, which we have already scaled to large star level post-awakening, and can manipulate the weather by creating massive storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, wind, snow or rain. Thor also has the ability of power bestowal, as shown when he passed his power onto the kids of Asgard. Thor's hammers, Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, also come with a whole host of unique abilities. Both hammers allow Thor to fly, project his lightning bolt, summon his armor, resurrect him from death, and can be summoned across entire worlds. Stormbreaker gives Thor complete access to the Bifrost, and Mjolnir can only be lifted by those deemed worthy, which Thor can always take advantage of. As for resistances, Thor is completely immune to the Ether's transmutive abilities, as well as his own lightning. He can survive floating in outer space, and has been able to recover from attacks from the Power Stone, which destroys on an atomic level. In terms of skill, Thor is one of the greatest fighters in the cosmos, as he has been training and fighting for thousands of years. In terms of experience, Thor himself states that he's 1500 years old and has been fighting all his life. Thor's immense experience and extensive skill has allowed him to match and contend with opponents such as Thanos, who is 1000 years old and has fought everyone in the cosmos, and Hela, who is over 5000 years old and has soloed entire armies. Thor was also able to humiliate the Hulk in combat, who has over 200,000 years of experience post-Sakaar and was trained by Valkyrie, which basically means that Thor can outperform characters with hundreds of times his experience level. And with that, we come to the end of our MCU Thor power scale. Hopefully this is the last time I'll ever have to scale Thor, since honestly I've just had enough at this point of talking about Thor. To conclude the video, we have pre-awakened Thor from between planet to star level in terms of attack potency and durability, with his lightning AP at multi-continental plus. And by the end of Love and Thunder, Thor should easily be large star level in terms of physical strength, solar system level for durability, and his lightning AP can be upgraded to large star. And as for speed, Thor just remains consistently MFTL+. Please like and subscribe for more content, hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss the next one, and comment down below any suggestions for future videos. Also, quick note, I should be doing a collab video discussing Love and Thunder scaling with a friend on Discord soon. You should go and check him out, he's also got a YouTube channel, his name is The Emperor. So please sub to him and look out for that video as well. And if you enjoyed this video, then I highly advise you go check out his take on MCU Thor, as honestly he explains it a lot better than me. Links to those videos will be in the description below. Thanks for watching and have a good day.